Hi, I'm Rob, and today I like to show you the MAKITA trim router, but then on a flattening sled. And this is the RT0702C, and the package I think is X2J or even 3J, because it's still the same router. You only miss one foot, and the extra foot, that is then the off base, off center, that base, and that's the fourth foot, but I never used it. I never will use it, I think. So I went for the 2J instead of the 3. And that's what I like to show you on a flattening sled. And yeah, it does a very wonderful job for such a small machine. And that's what I like to show you. Well, this is then the broken router. That was my previous router. It's the 3703. You see? It's a 3703. But yeah, the anchor burned out. So yeah, after 26 years, it gave up. Where are you? Yeah. See, here, these coils, they are, yeah, black, smoke came out, so that one is deceased. And for that one comes in now the next one, and that's the new router, and that's the RT, the 0702, you see. So now this one is we're gonna see in action. Well, this is then the new set, and that's an RT0702C, and the set is then the X2J. You have also the X3J, and that has an extra base. This has 3 bases, and the other one has 4 bases. And the other one, the fourth base, is then an off-center base, so that you can you can cut deeper to the inner edge. Let's say, I think it's minimum or maximum 18 millimeters, but you stay out. So that's what you can do with it. But I don't use that, so I went for another option, and it is this one. That's the X2J, and that one comes without the fourth one. So you have 3 bases. You see them on the box. And I show you in detail. By the way, what matter of set you take, or you order, or whatever you buy, it's always with the same router. And it is the RT0702C. And that's the router, the model number. And then it comes in different packages. Well, this is then the interior of the box, and yeah, there's a lot of parts included. I don't go over all the parts, because that's silly. There are so many other videos which do that. Here you have, this is then the base router, or the base. This is the tilting router. I show it all in detail later. And we get the other one. And that's the plunge. It's a plunge base, you see. So it comes, my set, the 2, comes then with 3 special feet. By the way, the funny thing of this system, it's stackable also with Festool. So yeah, you're not only stuck with Makita. Now we get to the point where the video is actually about, and that is the Makita with a router sled. And this is then the sled. You can see that it's all in detail in part 2. And part 1 is the prototype even before part 2. And this is then the third, let's say. And except the base, the platform is the same as in the part 2, this one. And I use it then with some mounting blocks, and these are 1 to 3 blocks. 2. And there is a T-nut under it. There are lots of T-nuts in here I brought in. So then I can clamp in one another. And I work with 2 sets of wedges and 2 steady plates. You see. And that's yeah, how it is set up. Well, this is then the actual sled itself. And yeah, that's at the moment, it's 9.5 centimeter. 9.5 centimeter, 3.5 inch, something like that. And this is now suitable. This is the old one. I made the foot plates for the new router suitable for this one. So yeah, this stays then in it. You can go in it like that. And it has no play. Yeah, a little bit, otherwise it doesn't move. And then also yeah, a few stop blocks. I made a couple of them. You see, all kinds of stop blocks. That's what you need. Okay, the next job is done with an end mill, and it's 4 inch, 10 centimeter, 6 millimeter diameter, and 4 flutes. And it's an TC bit, tungsten carbide. Okay, if you turn this adjustment counterclockwise, you can lower router bit. Okay, if you want to adjust your router bit pretty accurate, this is then a cigarette paper, and now I feel that it just scratches. So I can tell you it's this thickness away from the wood. Now, look, it's 100. This paper, it's 100. So it's now, let's say 100 of a mil away from the wood. And here, what is that thing? Here, this one, that's in the tenths. You see? So it's a tenth of this part from here to the 0. 1/10, that's what it's now away from the wood. Well, here we see the three bases and three foot pads. And this is then the steady base, plunge base and the tilting base. And these things, I take them off and I replace them for equal ones, at least equal in the size, like this, here like this, and this one not. This one can go only in one direction. And this one can go also in two directions. It can be like this, and this. And this one, same thing. You know, you can spin them around. Only be careful, because this one is out of the middle. So if you have a very big router bit, a very broad router bit, you get into the sled. So then it's only possible to two sides with this one. And these things, I use them as templates for the new created foot plates. Well, with these foot plates, if you create them, it's very convenient for you not to get confused, to place a sticker under. You know, like this, under, that you always know, okay, this is the underside of the foot plate. And here you have to place then also the countersinks. So the router is on the other side. And that is easily to forget when you are busy with it and you flip it over a couple of times, which is now the right side. So if you have a sticker, I don't think that you can go easily wrong. Then something else, if you see this pattern, the pattern is not really square. One of them is a bit inside. So there is only one way to mount such a foot plate, and also the other foot plate, the original one, to mount that on the machine. You only can do it like this. You can't do it like this, you know, like this. You can't. You have to do it like this, because this one is out of place in a way. So bear that in mind. Now, what this one concerns, it doesn't matter much, because you always can use the original one. And that one will keep the copier ring, you see. So that is not really a problem. Well, the material for the foot plates, yeah, that doesn't matter that much. If you want to do it from plywood, well, do it from plywood, plexiglass, acrylic. I used, and because I have a lot of HPL, I used HPL, but that's totally up to you. Well, with the plunge router, the plunge base, if you make the foot plate, take care that the inner circle, this one, the big one, the big hole, that's big enough to give entrance to your copier plate, the copier ring. And also, of course, for the little screws who attach it, you see. So this one has to be big enough. Then we go to the base foot. That's this one, the steady one, the little one. Has also a separated plate and fits into it. I kept it bigger, so I can't use this with this plate because of the view. If I have to look from the top through this hole, and this is at least 3.5, 4 millimeters bigger on each side, I have a very tiny hole to see my object and what the router bit is doing. And this router comes without any light. So you are totally in the dark, and this is very closed off, you see. There's only one hole. So here, that's the only thing what you can see. You see? Here. So if you make that smaller, you have even less light on the object. So yeah, that's a bit of a minor. That thing, that router, should have the same like the Vault, an interior light, but it doesn't. Furthermore, the dimensions of the foot plates, they are exactly the same like the inside of the sled. So here we have the sled. Let me show you the sled. And then this one can fit like this, almost without play, but also like this, almost without play. There is not even, I think, a tenth in between, maybe 500. That's the clearance what you have. It was some work, but it pays off, because then your whole jig is way more accurate. So it can fit like this and that. Now, the tilt router, in principle, he can't be like this, because yeah, it tilts like this, you see. So then you are in your sled. So this one can only go like this, or you say, I do it different. I turn it 180 degrees around. I do it like this. You know, because here the router bit is sticking out. That's also why you need this space in the foot plate. You see? That's it. Well, another advantage is if you have more feet, I can, for instance, stay with this one on the router table, that foot, and this one I use just freely on the bench. Yeah, and this one also comes in somewhere. You see? But that's the advantage of having more than one foot. Oh, shit. Well, this was now the base foot, the base router. And yeah, that's way more agile than the plunge. And which one you prefer? Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's the basic and sometimes it's the plunge. The basic, yeah, it's way more agile. You feel every nudge in the wood. And the just plunge router, it just plunges through. You know, it doesn't give you much feel. And that's in a way a bit the difference. Yeah, it's a wonderful powerhouse. I mean, if you see how small that thing is and what it really can achieve. I mean, I have a 32 mil in it. No problem. It runs on speed 4. I don't know how many RPM, but it goes until 6. And it goes from 10,000 to 34,000. So maybe, yeah, number 4. Well, 20,000, 25,000. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, always bear in mind that if you have a 3 mil router bit, the total speed, the cutting speed, is of course 10 times smaller than from a 30 mil. So you can reduce with a 30 mil very easily your RPM. But as soon as you go to very small sizes, you really need RPM to make up for the small diameter for the cutting speed. Well, first I want to start out with the rail. And this is then an old type Festool rail with a little adaptation. And I have a guide piece here that's made with HDF. And this is in a way a clamp or a follower from the Bosch rail. But if I put it upside down, if I flip it over, I can make it also suitable for the Festool or any other rail, you know. You have these things, they come, I saw them in Germany, from plastic and they fit almost every rail. They have a little adjustment, and yeah, it's only I think just under €12. But before that existed, this was already designed. This was already made. This is years old. It's maybe 10 years old or so, I don't know, maybe even older. This thing, it comes, I think, from 2001 or so. So then I did it already with this sort of stuff, so it's quite old. But now it's for a modern router. And to connect the plunge base, for instance, like this one, this is then the Makita plunge base. To connect that with the rail, yeah, that's not so easy, because there is nowhere a real connection. You know, yeah, you have something like a bracket for edge guiding. I show you. That's this thing. You see? And yeah, that moves somewhere in here, like this. So from the other way around, from this side. Like this, and then with this one, with this knob, you can block it. And this belongs also to it. That comes under here. So then, yeah, you have a side. But that's not how it comes in the package. In the package, it comes. Yeah, I find it a bit stupid. It comes with these small rods. And these small rods are then just enough to clamp it in here, like this. And then this is metric 5, and that screws here in this aluminum part. And there's also a thread metric 5 in it. So then you turn them in, and then you have two of these little rods standing out. And that comes then like this in the router. Now, that doesn't give you much opportunity, I mean, to go further, you know. If you could go further away from the foot, and this is still small. I mean, these things, they go to for 3 feet, 1 meter. So you can work with this one, and with this one attached, even 1 meter from the edge. But that you don't get. That's not included. Included is this. So what I did, I drilled it out, and I put some thread in it. That's metric 8. And then, yeah, there is thread in it with a contra nut, and that's it. So then you have an extension. You see? So that's one side of the base. So now we get that rod system. They are not included in the set. You have to buy them separate. And that's a set with, I think, a guidance. I don't know if you can buy them separate. But there is, I think, also a huge guide involved. And you have it for 12 mil and you have it for 8 mil. And 8 mil is then for the trim router, and for the bigger Makita routers you have a 12 mil rod. Now this is then a thread rod. Well, it doesn't matter, it's a rod, you know. So now I can place, if I take these out, and I replace them for taller ones, well, I can work very far away, you know. Like this, you see? That's even possible. Ah, that's 70 centimeters, 80 centimeters what you can do. Even you can go further, and you can do that with couplers. Yeah, isn't that a bit silly? 2 meters away or whatever, you know, or 1.5 meters away. I think it's a bit silly, but you can. Well, this is then a close-up of that guider. I also did then the HPL on it, and I made it a bit bigger. And I closed off the middle. So if you are at the edge of a plate, it doesn't make this, you know, like this. But now it follows straight. So that's quite important. And in a way, yeah, that is the thing. Just drill and tap the thread really 90-degree perpendicular. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't work. Then they get maybe too small in the end, or they get too big, or they are crooked. So that you really have to do very good. I do that then with the drill press. And for the guide rail, I use this bracket, and then I made here an extension on the foot. Don't know if you can see that here, an extension, and that falls then like this. So then, I don't know if you can see that well, maybe like this. This comes against the rail. There is 1/10 of a millimeter play in it here, because it fits in here. It doesn't have to fit in here. And even if your rail is not really straight, yeah, that's only a few hundred, but then you don't have any problem with that. I put it then like this. So, and then we get a few nuts. Okay, and now, as you can see, it's attached, and so it's a very nice, it's a very good system. And that's then the plunge base with a Festo, but you can do it with a Bosch. I didn't want to buy again a rail from Makita, because then I have to buy again a Makita rail, an adapter and all that sort, while I already have that. So that's why I made the Makita now suitable for the Festo and the Bosch. But yeah, if you take right away the Makita, you're there. Okay, now we get the steady base. This is then the basic base, let's say. It only can do 90 degree. And I also gave it another foot. You see, this is then for another guide, like, what is that thing? This one. This one comes then straight on this one. And that's then, yeah, also a guide. For that you need a little cavity, so you have to take a little bit out of your plate, your base plate. I had to high it up a little to get it in level with my adapter, and of course the two metallic 5s. And it fits the same like the plunge. And now it follows like this, and it has again a 1/10 of a mil play. Now we get the tilting base, and that can go 45 mil degree to one side, and 30 mil again degree to the other side. And this one I made also suitable for the adapter and the rail. So now I can use this one too, the same adapter like this, like I did with the plunge and the base. And now we have this one, you see. So now you can do also angles like this, you see. So now we get the trick with the FSN 140, and that's the Bosch. Now there's the plunge and the adapter. Now you see the adapter is flipped over. Now the Bosch side is under. It attaches in the same manner like we did with the Festo. Place a nut on it and you're in business. You see? Very easy. Well, the standard base, the same thing. On the Bosch, there's the standard base. Last but not least, the tilting base, the adapter, place it on the thread rods, and you're done. Well, I hope it was an interesting video, and yeah, that you maybe can do something with it, or for yourself, or a project, or whatever. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching, and maybe till the next time. Bye bye.